was close to Halloween when Melissa Turner ended her boyfriend's life. What happened in those early morning hours? And why did Matthew Tressler have to die? Hello, my miracles. Welcome to Coffee and Crime. Grab your coffee and let's talk some crime. Riverview, Florida. In the early morning hours of October 18th, 2019, a Nest camera in a quiet suburban community picked up two voices. One voice, a woman's, could be heard more than the man's. She was screaming out, "Get up! I hate you! So effing die!" And the last thing she screamed was, "What did I do?" Then silence. At around 8:45 a.m. that same morning, Melissa Turner made a panicked call to 911. She tells the operator that her boyfriend, Matthew Tressler, is non-responsive and that there's blood everywhere. Emergency responders arrive, but sadly, Matthew was gone. The white sheet was placed on top of his body, and Melissa was taken to the police station to be interviewed. Melissa claimed all was fine the night before. Her and Matthew had ran some errands, and they had been drinking on and off throughout the day, but that was typical for them. While being interviewed, she was still covered in Matthew's blood. She was given gloves to wear so that the detectives could collect as much evidence as they could. During the interview, one of the detectives asked if Melissa wanted to remove the gloves she was wearing. She says yes, and when she takes off the right glove, a large slice appears on the palm of her hand. Claiming it must have been a piece of glass from the broken window, Melissa acts clueless. Unaware that the detectives retrieved that Nest cam footage, they begin to press her more, asking her what happened around 4 in the morning. Why was she screaming? Melissa claims that Matthew had woken her up because he was still drinking. She then states that he was always drinking. He had a problem with alcohol, but things weren't adding up. Melissa was avoiding the truth. So they asked one important question. Why did Matthew have stab wounds? Her reply, stab wounds? As if she had no clue. Another story develops, and Melissa begins by telling them that when Matthew would drink, another side of him would come out. He would grab certain knives he collected and say, "Matthew's not here anymore," or "Are you scared, little girl?" And that night, Melissa claimed that Matthew was suicidal and grabbed his black tactical switchblade. She then took it away from him, which caused the slice on her right hand. This enraged Matthew. He grabbed her throat and began choking her, and the only way to make him stop, she claims she stabbed him lightly in the back. He released his grip and pushed her. Melissa claimed that she hit her head on the kitchen counter, and dizzy and disoriented, she made her way to her office and passed out on an oversized chair. When she awoke at around 8:35 in the morning, Melissa got up and went searching for Matthew. Discovering the bloody kitchen, the broken window, and finally Matthew laying outside underneath that broken window near the pool area, Melissa called 911. Melissa Turner was a cosplay CamGirl, known online as Two Thorned Rose. She produced and directed her own adult movies. She would dress up as Elvira, Poison Ivy, Misty from Pokemon, and much more. She had dealt with weight issues in her past, and with determination had lost a considerate amount of weight, which led to her confidence and wanting to share her story online. She started out with giving advice and encouragement, but it soon turned into adult content that made her money. Matthew was kind and friendly, yet struggled with substance abuse, and thought a move to Florida in 2015 to be closer to his brother Sean would help him. Working for his brother at a construction business worked out for a little while. Then 2 years later, Melissa, then 24, met Matthew, then 23, on the online dating app Tinder. Melissa liked how Matthew treated her, and the two soon became a couple, buying a home in 2019, the very same home that Matthew would die in. While together, Matthew seemed to be pulling away from his brother Sean, due to Melissa wanting all of Matthew's time. Sean believed Melissa was the cause of their broken relationship, which resulted in the brothers not seeing each other the last 6 months of his life. A few months after moving in, according to Melissa, their relationship had become strained. Matthew began drinking heavily and turning into someone she didn't know. And that night, into the morning, Melissa defended herself against Matthew. Nothing was adding up with the detectives, and only a few hours after Melissa had made that 911 call, she was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. 2 years after Matthew's murder, Melissa finally went on trial. During the trial, ADT camera footage in the home revealed on that night a shirtless Matthew walking by the camera, with a hunched-over angry Melissa trailing after him. Then Melissa can be seen running from the kitchen, leaning against a wall with her head in her hands. Another part of the video has Melissa standing in front of the front door with bloody hands, seemingly talking to thin air. This was critical evidence in the trial, along with the Nest camera that picked up Melissa screaming that night. In a frustrating turn, the court was not allowed to hear of Melissa's online cam work. The judge ruled that it wasn't relevant to the case, which doesn't make sense to me. This shows how Melissa can act. She can put on a show, and she can portray herself as the victim. Melissa's attorney, of course, blamed the victim, Matthew Tressler, claiming that she stabbed Matthew in self-defense, that she was in fear for her life, and she was defending herself. Melissa decided to take the stand to tell her story, which was the worst move possible. Melissa was emotionally all over the place. She was shifting her eyes rapidly. She was crying at the drop of a hat, sometimes laughing, and other times really irritated with the attorneys. Also at trial, it was revealed that Melissa's alcohol level was never tested. However, Matthew's was 5 times the legal limit, which would have rendered him unable to defend himself against Melissa's attack. 7 hours later, the jury comes back with a guilty verdict. Melissa Turner was sentenced to 20.5 years on February 14th, 2022. I think Melissa was so upset that once again Matthew was intoxicated, keeping her up all hours of the night, that she lost it. And an argument started and ended with Melissa killing Matthew. So was this a planned murder? No. Was this a murder that happened in the heat of the moment? Definitely yes. Alcohol brings out the worst in some people. And in this case, it brought out a murderer in Melissa Turner. Matthew chose the wrong woman to love. A woman who was greedy and attention-seeking. Maybe to appease her, he became involved with her online adult cam work. But after a while, he grew tired of it. And maybe that night, Matthew may have said he wanted out of the relationship, or just out of being involved with her online persona. Or maybe he just said something that made Melissa explode into violence. What we do know is that she killed someone she claimed to have loved. Thank you for watching, and if you're not a subscriber and want to be, click that subscribe button and watch a miracle happen. Join me next Saturday as I delve into the darker part of society with another episode of Coffee and Crime. I'll see you next time.